Hello again. I'm back with another video. And one thing I realized when I was going to start this channel up again is actually what kind of content I was going to make. The first video was easy. You know, I had all these boxes of subscription boxes to do. So once I did all those boxes, it was a nice little video. But then what other videos could I do? I haven't been reading a lot, especially a lot of books. I've been reading mostly comic books, which I am probably going to talk about on my other channel. But I wanted something book-related for this channel, so I didn't really know what I was going to do. I haven't really been buying a lot of newer books, but I do have a huge amount of backlog books that I really need to get to. So I decided the easiest thing to do would be to have you guys pick my book. So this is a new segment that I'm doing on this channel called Pick the Next Book I'm Going to Read. So the way this is going to work is I am going to give you 4 books from different genres. And then in the comment section, please tell me which one you would like me to read. A week from now, I will tell you what book won the vote, and that will be the next book I read. And every week what I will do is I will finish one of the books that I was going to read, and I will tell you the next 4 books for you to pick what books I want to read. So this way it kind of works to the advantage of what you guys want to see more on the channel, and also what I want to read. And obviously, if I start seeing the same kind of book week after week, I probably will be reading other books in between. But I thought this was a nice way to get into reading and what books I want to read. So, once I show you these 4 books, you can decide which one I want to read by voting in the comments. But that doesn't solve the problem of next week, when I tell you what one won, to actually do a review of the book I'm going to be reading this week. So, before I tell you the books that I am letting you vote on, I will tell you what book I'm going to be reading for next week. And that will be the Catwoman. That will be the Catwoman Soul Stealer book. Now, for those who were here before I took my sabbatical, I guess, from this channel, I started a book club where I was going to read all of the DC Universe books. I started with Wonder Woman, but I never actually covered Wonder Woman. I wasn't a huge fan of the Wonder Woman book. I did read the Batman book, but I never reread it. But this one I haven't read yet. So I'm going to read this Catwoman book this week. And then next week I will give you my review of this book. And we'll see how it goes. I've been kind of hit or miss with Sarah J. Maas, but I do like the character of Catwoman, and I am kind of interested to see what she does with the story. So that is the book that I'm going to be reading this week, and I will be talking about it next week when I tell you the winner of the book that you guys choose for me to read next week. So, let's get into the books that I picked for you guys to choose. First book I pick here is Wundersmith, The Calling of Morgan Crow. This is the second book in the Nevermoor series. I really did enjoy the first book. Very, I guess, Harry Potter-ish. And I look forward to reading the second book. For those who aren't aware, I don't know if I want to read too much about this because it is a sequel to the first book. So I don't want to ruin it. But it's basically about a magical school kind of area where this girl kind of gets whisked off to this magical world. And again, it's a really fun series. I definitely read Nevermoor, The Trial of Morgan Crow. Really fun book, and I am looking forward to continuing this. So if you want me to read this book next week, please mention it down in the comments. Next book is something, again, I really want to read. I really want to read all of these books. But the next book I want to read is Slayer. Now, this is actually a book set in the world of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It is not about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I believe it seems to take place right after the series ends. Let me read the blurb here. Nina and her twin sister Artemis are far from normal. It's hard to be when you grow up at Watcher's Academy, which is a lot different from your average boarding school. Here, teens are trained as guides for slayers, girls gifted with supernatural strength to fight the forces of darkness. But while Nina's mother is a prominent member of the Watcher's Council, Nina has never embraced a violent Watcher lifestyle. Instead, she followed her instinct to heal, carving out a place for herself at the school's medic. Until the day Nina's life changed. Thanks to Buffy, the famous and infamous Slayer that Nina's father died protecting, Nina is not only the newest chosen one, she is the last Slayer ever, period. As Nina hones her skills with her Watcher in training Leo, there's plenty to keep her occupied. A monster-fighting ring, a demon who eats happiness, a shadowy figure that keeps popping up in Nina's dreams. But it's not until bodies start turning up that Nina's new powers will truly be tested, because someone she loves might be next. One thing is clear, being chosen is easy, making choices is hard. So this will be really interesting. This is actually the first book in a series. I don't know how many books will be in the series. The author, Kirsten White, is the same author, I believe, that did the Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein. She actually wrote that as well. But again, if you want me to read this book, please mention down in the comments. And hopefully this will be the book for next week. Another book, since obviously I do like horror, I do want to stick at least one horror selection in every week's choices. So for this one, I am going to pick Ronald Malfi's December Park. Let's see. This says, in the quiet suburb of Harding Farms, the weekly crime blotter usually consists of graffiti or the occasional bout of mailbox baseball. But in the fall of 1993, children begin vanishing and one is found dead. Newspaper calls him the Piper because he has come to take the children away, but there are darker names for him too. Vowing to stop the Piper's reign of terror, 5 boys take up the search. Their teenage plunge turns into a journey of self-discovery and a journey into the darkness of their own hometown. On the twilight streets of Harding Farms, everyone is a suspect, and any of the boys might be Piper's next victim. So, that is that book. I haven't read any full-length novels, I believe, by Ronald Malfi, but I did read a short story collection that I really was interested in, and this sounds really cool. So, that is Ronald Malfi's December Park. So again, if you're interested in that, please mention it down in the comments, and I will start reading that next week. And the last book I'm going to pick is one of the psychological horror, mystery kind of category of books, and this is going to be Karen Slaughter's Pieces of Her. I haven't read anything by Karen Slaughter, but I did pick this up because it was on sale a while ago. So this might be a way for me to get into the mystery, psychological horror kind of books. So let me read what this is about. What if the person you thought you knew best turns out to be someone you never knew at all? Andre Oliver knows everything about her mother, Laura. She knows Laura has spent nearly her whole life in the small beach town of Belle Island, Georgia. She knows Laura's never wanted anything more than to lead a quiet, normal life in this conventional community. She knows Laura's kind and beloved speech pathologist who helps others. She knows Laura's never kept a secret in her life. Andrea knows that Laura is everything she isn't, confident, settled, sure of herself. Feeling listless, with no direction, Andrea, unlike Laura, struggles to find her own way. But Andrea's certainty is upended when a visit to the mall is shattered by an act of horrifying violence that reveals a completely different side of Laura, a cool woman who calmly faces down a murderer. It turns out that before Andrea's mother was Laura, she was someone completely different. For nearly 30 years, she's been hiding from the woman she once was, lying low in the hope that no one would ever find her. But now she's been exposed and nothing will ever be the same again. The assailant was a mentally troubled teenage scion of Georgia law enforcement royalty, and now the police want answers about what really happened in those terrifying moments at the mall. Though she's been scrutinized at every level of the criminal justice system and her innocence is on the line, Laura refuses to speak to anyone, including her own daughter. She pushes Andrea away, insisting it's time for her to stand alone and make a life for herself. To save her mother, Andrea embarks on a desperate journey, following the breadcrumb trail of her mother's past. Andrea knows that if she can't uncover the secrets hidden there, there'll be no future for her or her mother. Filled with intriguing turns, surprising revelations, and a compelling cast of characters, Pieces of Her is Slaughter's most electrifying, provocative, and suspenseful novel yet. So, that is Pieces of Her. So just to reiterate, the 4 choices for me to read for next week are the children's YA book Wundersmith, The Calling of Morgan Crow, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer universe book called Slayer by Kristen White, the horror book by Ronald Malfi called December Park, and the Karen Slaughter book Pieces of Her. So, get down in the comment section, vote for which book you like, and also look forward to next week when I tell you what book that you chose, and I also review the Sarah J. Maas Catwoman book as well. And as always, thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.